Thanks, Julian. Well, it's always a great pleasure to mark high achievement, and the ANZ SEBP Awards recognise excellence in evidence-based policing in two categories: Distinguished Police Scientist Award and the Group Award for an Outstanding Police Experiment. I'll ask Anthony to outline the Distinguished Police Scientist Award first. Anthony.
Thank you, Dave. So the Distinguished Police Scientist Award recognises a member of a policing agency, either a sworn officer or a civilian employee, who has been central to the implementation of a documented, rigorous scientific evaluation, or evaluations in the case of today's award winner, in their agency. These evaluations can be conducted for various interventions, policies or practices, and include a wide variety of outcomes, including crime reduction, improvement in community satisfaction, reduction of fear, improvements in police legitimacy, and so on. The nominee must also show a record of translating evidence-based practices in their agency. This might include implementing strategies that have been shown to be effective in reducing or preventing crime, or using practices supported by research that address other important outcomes, such as those I listed before. This record of practice might also include greater incorporation of science and scientific processes in decision-making or training.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. So I'm just going to talk about this year's award winner. And this year's recipient started his policing career in the United Kingdom, where he rose through the ranks, including joining the Criminal Justice Unit as an out-of-court subject matter expert. In 2016, he was poached by the Western Australian Police Department, where he was employed as the Senior Sergeant Project Manager in the Evidence-Based Policing Division. Here, he led a team in producing evidence of what works, what doesn't, and what looks promising in both preventing and reducing criminal behaviour, as well as applying an evidence-based lens to internal change processes. During this time, he worked to establish the Office of Applied Criminology to test new practices, provide advanced data analytics, conduct rapid evidence reviews, conduct rapid statistical reviews, and leverage from our national and global criminology network. In 2019, I was delighted that he was offered the position of Manager, Implementation and Evaluation at the New Zealand Evidence-Based Policing Centre, and subsequently has become the Director of that centre. And in these roles, he's overseen the development of the EBP Centre and its presence across the New Zealand Police, and the work of the centre under his directorship has been nominated and mentioned at the World Class Policing Awards. In addition to his work with New Zealand Police, he also finds time to support the Australian-New Zealand Society of Evidence-Based Policing in the role of Secretariat, and is the managing editor of the Society's journal, Police Science. At a personal level, I just want to say that this individual provides amazing support to me and the New Zealand Police Executive. So please, can I welcome to the screen Simon Williams. Simon, many, many congratulations for this award. I'm going to remove it from the envelope and maybe hold it up for the audience to see. And the award is to Simon Williams, Distinguished Police Scientist, 28th of October 2021, presented by Superintendent Dave Cowan, ANZ SEBP President. Many congratulations, Simon.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Anthony and Dave on screen. I feel extremely humbled, actually, to be recognised in this way for doing something that, to be honest, I just feel really passionately about. I think the award is much less about me, but far more a reflection on the amazing teams and awesome people I've worked with or led in the last 10 years, which is kind of when my EBP journey began. Reflecting back 10 years, it was a hotspots trial in Birmingham and Operation Turning Point, actually, that Larry mentioned earlier on, the UK's first robust test of a deferred prosecution for those people who we would just normally charge that got me really hooked into EBP. It's when I started to become aware of the evidence base out there that could help police leaders like me at that point make better decisions and think more broadly about what works, what doesn't, and what looks promising in making a difference, which, after all, in policing, that's why we're all here, right, to make a difference. I think, look, I'd just say I'd like to urge any leader in policing, especially those who deliver policing, our sergeants, our frontline leaders, be curious, ask questions about current policy, practice, procedure. It's easier now than ever before to get involved in this world of evidence-based policing, and as we've heard from the panel discussion, just it's actually essential now. And thanks to the academic police partnerships that exist across the globe, that evidence is really easily accessible. I'd like to really thank DC Mark, and Assistant Commissioner Bruce O'Brien, who's been online with us this morning, for putting their support and faith in me to lead the EBPC. It's a huge responsibility. I'm incredibly lucky to work with two of the best thought leaders I've worked with in policing, and I get to see them and talk to them every day. I'd like to say a massive thank you as well to my leadership team at the Evidence-Based Policing Centre, in particular Dr Jess Dent, Inspector Simon Welsh, Ming Lee, and Dr Karen Martin, who have been, for me, a solid back four. As a goalkeeper, I generally tend to bring things back to football. As a goalkeeper myself, you're only ever as good as your back four, and I've got an absolutely solid back line there, so a massive thanks to them. Lastly, and just to round this off, I'm going to quote one of my favourite authors, a chap called Roald Dahl, who many of you will have read. When it comes to EBP, I think it's important to be an enthusiast. If you're interested in something, no matter what it is, go at it full speed ahead. Embrace it with both arms, hug it, love it, and above all, become passionate about it. Lukewarm is no good, hot's no good either, white, hot and passionate, I think it's the only thing to be, and generally that's what I see around me in policing anyway. So again, thank you very much.
Well done, Simon.
Simon, just from me, I just wanted to congratulate you on the award. You're one of the most worthy recipients of this award. Your description that you just gave really encapsulates how you approach things. You're an enthusiast. You're one of the hardest working people I know, and you're the rock of the society. You do so much work for us on top of everything else that you do. So sincere congratulations to you, mate. We will move on now to our next award. Now, Anthony is going to outline the Outstanding Police Experiment Award. Anthony.
Thanks, Dave, and congratulations once again, Simon, on the very well-deserved recognition. As Dave said, I think everyone in the society would agree that, Simon, you've made an enormous contribution to EBP in Australia and New Zealand, and including this particular event is obviously you've been a huge part of the team in pulling it together, both part one and part two. Our second award today is the Outstanding Police Experiment Award, where we have the chance to recognise a high-quality impact evaluation that assesses the effectiveness of a policing intervention. A police intervention, or that involves police, is broadly defined as police initiation, development or leadership, where police deliver or implement the intervention, or where police are recipients of the intervention. We also consider interventions that are related, focused or targeted to police practices. Importantly, the project must use an experimental design, such as a randomised control trial or a quasi-experimental evaluation design with a valid comparison group that does not receive the intervention. That way we can be truly sure that the intervention works. Dave.
This year's winner of the Outstanding Police Experiment Award is a study that focused on the prevention of sharing of child sexual abuse material, what's referred to as CSAM. The study demonstrated that individuals can be dissuaded from sharing sexualised images if they received an online warning message concerning a potential breach of the laws. Using a fitness website with a link to an image sharing website, participants were randomly assigned to one of three conditions. One group encountered a text warning that sharing sexualised images of people who appear under 18 years old can be illegal. The second group received that same text message with accompanying animation and a third group, a control group, went straight to the landing page. Users, this is the key bit, users who received a warning message were significantly less likely to access the image sharing website. These findings are considered robust because the participants did not know they were being observed and were randomly assigned into the three groups. The study was a collaborative effort between La Trobe University, University of Tasmania, University of Canberra, and the University of Waikato. It was undertaken in support of the Australian Federal Police and with the involvement of the E-Safety Commissioner. Congratulations then to our winning team, Adjunct Professor Paul Waters, and from La Trobe University, Professor Richard Wortley, and from the University of Waikato, Associate Professor Tony Crone. From the University of Tasmania, and from the university is Dr. Caroline Spiranovic, Dr. Joel Scanlon, and Associate Professor Jeremy Pritchard, and Dr. Charlotte Hun. Professor Richard Wortley will now accept the award on behalf of the group.
Richard, you're on mute, Richard. Would you like to start that again?
Sorry, I unmuted myself here. Okay. Well, sorry. I'm pleased and proud to accept the award on behalf of our research. Just a quick clarification. Some of the affiliations weren't quite correct. I'm actually associated with the University of Waikato, not La Trobe. As I said, I'm accepting this on behalf of the team. The team leader, Jeremy Pritchard, unfortunately can't be with us, but I really have to stress that Jeremy's been the driving force behind this project and is really the glue that has held us all together. See that Caroline Spiranovic and Joel Scanlon are also with us, but also a shout out to Paul Waters, Charlotte Hun, and Tony Crone, who have also been involved. This is one of a suite of similar studies that we've been conducting using the honeypot method and exploring warning messages to see the effectiveness of them in deterring people from undertaking potentially illegal behaviour at the very moment they're making that decision. I think that's a crucial point about our studies. We're not just simply trying to educate the public with public health warnings or public service warnings. We're trying to intervene at that time when they're contemplating doing something illegal. And we think online messages provide a very useful and potentially very important tool that police can use, not just for child exploitation material, which has been the focus of this study, but more generally. One of the driving forces for this study is the recognition that, particularly in the CSEM area, the child exploitation material area, police are simply overwhelmed with the enormity of the task, and they, by necessity, have to triage their activities to focus on the most serious cases. And we think the use of warning messages offers a way of dealing with that long tail of offenders who perhaps aren't quite so predatory, aren't quite so entrenched in their offending. Now, warning messages sound like they're a common sense strategy, but in fact, the point is there's been very little empirical evidence to show that they actually work. So our study was designed to actually put an evidence-based beneath the use of these strategies. I'd just like to point out two things about our studies that I think are worth other people perhaps replicating. First of all, the honeypot method we think is a really useful way of examining online behaviour. As has already been mentioned, you can observe people without them knowing they're being observed, and you can implement true experiments where you can have control over the variables and randomly allocate people to conditions. The other thing that's crucial about our study is its fundamental interdisciplinary focus. Within our team, we have people expert in law, in computer science, in psychology, in crime science, and we also partnered with an industry partner who helped us maintain our website. The project simply could not have happened without the input of those disciplines and the community, the industry partner. So I think for any researcher out there interested in tackling online crime, you have to partner. If you're a computer scientist, you have to partner with people who are expert in crime. If you're a criminologist or a psychologist interested in behaviour online, you have to partner with computer scientists and so forth who can open your eyes to the potential for what can be done. So thank you.
Well done, Richard, to you and your team. Now I would normally hand you the nice certificate. We can't do that in this virtual environment, but all you guys will get your certificate sent to you shortly. It's obviously an important partnership that you have with New Zealand Police, and it's a great example of a really important trial. That concludes the award ceremony. Mark, was there anything you wanted to say as we wrap this up? Or back to the studio? Sorry, Mark.
I'm coming back to the studio now. No, look, I just, I mean, Simon's still here, and I think just to recognise he's a very worthy award winner and fully deserving. And it's fantastic for me to listen to Richard again. Richard's at the University of Waikato, and as you said, the university's got a strong relationship currently with New Zealand Police. But Richard was my head of department actually at UCL for many years, and we worked together on a range of interesting problems. So it's actually fantastic actually to see Richard. I assume you're still in Brisbane, Richard, and enjoying life in Queensland. I think it just goes to show how global really the evidence-based policing, crime science movement actually is. Dave and Anthony, just thanks for your support, help, and I think worthy winners for the Society this year, I think.
I agree.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, Dave and Anthony, and also thank you, Mark, as well. And of course, congratulations to those recipients. Again, Simon Williams, a recipient for the Distinguished Police Scientist Award, and also to Professor Richard Wortley. On behalf of La Trobe University, University of Tasmania, University of Canberra, and the University of Waikato, the Outstanding Police Experiment Award, congratulations to you all.